Well, it looks like it's going to be dry and warm across the region throughout the work week. My name is Christopher Bann with the National Weather Service here in Slidell, Louisiana, and thank you for joining us. Here's your weather briefing for Sunday, March 22nd through the last full week of March. As we look at the situation overview right now, we'll have a pretty quiet forecast ahead with warm temperatures, especially around the end of the week, and mainly for these interior areas of our forecast area. We're anticipating little, if any, rain, and then the rivers are the only real impacts that we have across our region. The Mississippi River right now looks to remain steady for the next week, possibly 2 weeks, and then could even rise as we get into April some. The Pearl River, however, is falling, should fall out of flood stage at Bogalusa later tonight, and then will fall out of flood stage at the Pearl River gauge, it looks like Tuesday evening. Real quick, this is your forecast through Tuesday. Right now, you can see the fronts are going to remain just off to our north along with the rain, so we look pretty dry for the most part. Maybe some light rain across southwest Mississippi. However, most of the area is likely going to remain dry. And then we are going to continue to remain dry as we work into the rest of the work week. And temperatures look like they're going to really start to heat up in some places. And speaking of heating up, as you look at our 7-day forecast for our general four areas, Macomb, Gulfport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans, you look at those interior areas that I've mentioned, Macomb and Baton Rouge, by the time we get to Thursday and Friday, temperatures are going to really be in the upper 80s and flirting with 90 degrees. So we have to keep a close eye on that. Upper 80s, 90s is well above normal for late March right now. Looking towards Gulfport, New Orleans, temperatures will probably remain in the lower to mid 80s, and that has a lot to do with probably getting impacted by some weak sea breeze and lake breeze to kind of help temperatures from really kind of heating up. Looking at your river forecast real quick, mentioned already that we only have two rivers that are in flood, the Pearl River and the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River, again, looks like it's going to remain kind of stationary or steady-ish, sorry. And then the Pearl River, as we're going to go into our next slide, will show that it's actually coming down. And speaking of the Pearl River, you can see right here, Pearl River at Bogalusa is quickly falling, and again, should fall below flood stage later tonight, whereas the Pearl River at Pearl River looks like it's going to continue to slowly inch down over the next 6 to 12 hours, and then really begin to fall after that sometime late tomorrow night, falling below flood stage Tuesday night. Here's your river forecast for the Mississippi River. As you can see at Red River Landing and Baton Rouge, those river heights are going to remain pretty steady throughout the next week, possibly 2 weeks. However, I would like to mention that the experimental forecast from the Lower Mississippi River Forecast Center suggests that the river could begin to rise as we move into April, and especially mid-April. Why is that, you ask? Well, real quick, as we look at the day 3 to 7 hazard outlook, there are really no hazards over our region. The only that purple area that is being highlighted is the Mississippi River right now because it is in flood. But if you look off to our north across Kentucky and Tennessee, and that's in the Ohio and Tennessee valleys, we're looking at some moderate to heavy rain in those regions. That water's got to go somewhere, and it will eventually come down the Mississippi River and into our area, which will probably be sometime around mid-April. And all that rain should lead to the river, either at least remaining steady for quite a while, but it could inch up a little bit higher as we get into the middle portions of April. Well, with temperatures well above normal at the end of this week, we don't look like we're going to see much in the way of any change as we move to next week, as there's a pretty good probability of seeing well above normal temperatures next week as we push into early April. As for the rainfall outlook, your 6 to 10 day rainfall outlook is slightly better chances of seeing above normal precip than below normal precip. However, given the lack of rainfall we've really had this weekend, and especially the forecast for this week, any rain we can get next week will be greatly appreciated. So here's your summary of impacts again. We do have a quiet forecast ahead still. Again, looking at some rather warm temperatures for the end of the work week. Not anticipating much in the way of any rain for most of the area. Maybe southwest Mississippi could see a little bit of rain. And then as for your rivers, the Mississippi River and Pearl River both currently remain in flood. The Mississippi River looks to remain steady for at least the next 2 weeks, probably well into April as well. And there is even a chance that it could start to rise as we move into April. For your Pearl River, looks like Bogalusa should fall out of flood stage later tonight, with Pearl River at Pearl River falling out of flood stage Tuesday night. Thank you, everybody, and have a good week.